Alrighty, and we're back. So, where last we left off, I had revolutionized the economy as we know it. No, that was not my job. That's the president's job. And I am merely a humble administrator. No, where last we left off, I had drafted a whole bunch of orders and set up everybody to do work, except, of course, the pesky builders. And now I realized that's a good that's a good segue into explaining the profession system, which could take a while. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that now. You'll notice that on the overview, it lists every gnome by name. And to show you how I got here, because I kind of was flipping through things, population, assignments. It lists every gnome by name, the profession to which they are assigned. This is not set in stone. You can totally make, any changes you like. And what they are going to do. To understand what these professions really mean, let us look at a gnome in particular. Let's take a look at Ver. Overview, whatever. Health, that's just a list of their current health status. Equipment, what are they wearing? Skills is what I want to show you. This game has a variety of categories in which a given gnome can be talented or skilled. Fitness, nimbleness, curiosity, focus, charm are their attributes. They have combat skills. And then they have their ability to do tasks. Mining tasks, for example, digging these walls, would be considered... he is ranked at 14. Masonry, like building stuff, 8. Stone carving, his ability to cut through, cut stone blocks, cut stone raw into blocks, 8. Wood cutting, his ability to cut wood trees down, 7. Carpentry, ability to build stuff out of wood, 7. Etc, etc, etc. I'm not going to explain what each of these tasks are. Suffice it to say, most of them are pretty self-explanatory. The more trained you are at a task, the better you are at doing it. Again, should go without saying. Better can mean making better quality stuff if you're a construction person, building stuff faster, and just transporting stuff faster, or digging faster. So, that's all pretty important. So, that's well and good. That's the list of what he's capable of doing as tasks. But then you might ask, wait a minute, if he's got wood cutting at 7, then how come in our population overview, he's idle instead of helping out with the people who are cutting trees? Because he has been assigned to the profession of builder. Builders are as opposed to the profession of woodcutter. Okay, how does that work? Well, I'll explain. Let us now take a look at what it means to be a woodcutter. This is the woodcutter profession. We got here by going from population to the profession tab. The profession of woodcutter is capable of woodcutting, carpentry, and wood carving. It is also capable of hauling stuff from one place to another. As a rule of thumb, all professions can haul. If you are a woodcutter, that is all you are capable of. You are not capable of any other tasks. So naturally, being incapable of any other tasks, when there are no trees to cut down, you're just going to stand around. Builders are capable of, and this should go without saying, but I'm just going to be pedantic and show it, construction and hauling. So when I make an order that says build X item in Y location, they'll do it. But otherwise, they are just good at carrying stuff from place to place. Now, that's a pretty limited scope of activity for my builder. So I have decided, let's say arbitrarily, I kind of want him to be allowed to build stuff too. I want to allow him to do carpentry. He should be allowed to go to a wood shop and build stuff at a wood shop. Okay, fair enough. But he's not going to be the best at doing that. He's probably going to be better at building the stuff that, is his primary skill. Remember how I showed you his carpentry skill? I don't want him to rush to that workshop and bump somebody with a 20 or a 30 in woodcutting. That's where priorities come into play. Among the tasks he is permitted, he will prioritize these tasks in this order. So build, top. Your build jobs are your most important. Your workshop jobs, significantly lower than that. Hauling stuff around is your lowest priority. So, I trust that this makes it a little bit more obvious what I'm going for here. Now, in this case, redefining his profession to include carpentry isn't really going to give him a task to do. So I'm going to give him a task more suited to his purpose. We have a bunch of stuff over here in all these crates that I I obviously want to transport more to where my home base is coming into focus. So let's designate an area here for stockpiling. A bunch of that stuff. Let's say... This is arbitrary because I intend to remove this designation later. But for the moment, I just want to transport my stuff here, so... Bring... what should I bring? Certainly bring my food and drink, as well as my plants, so my seeds and such. And, not the straw, well, yeah, whatever straw you have left over. This is a lower priority stockpile, so they're gonna prioritize the yak storage of my straw. And, that should about do it for the moment, I guess. I mean, the bandages that I have are obviously nice too, bring those. Okay, and to cap it off, I'm going to build storage within here. I do have all the storage crates that I brought with me. So I would like to order him to build those storage crates here. I also should have storage bags that I brought with me. So again, build me the storage bags. And build me the storage barrels that I brought with me. So in effect, I'm saying, take all of these storage receptacles, rebuild them over here. You can only build storage receptacles legally within a stockpile. And then transport all the stuff that was within them here, or bring it while you're building. I don't care which way you do it. Okay, everyone's in order? Let's hit the stupidly big red button and hit play. The sun has risen. I'm gonna hit save real quick. F4 is save, and boom. You'll notice that they are immediately carrying the crates with the build tasks, and your gnomes go to work, tilling the soil. Wait a minute. This is strawberry farm is... Oh no, okay good, these are not tilling the soil. They're cutting down trees. The strawberry farm is top priority, so as soon as they're done with the active foraging tasks, they should go to work on the wheat farm, not the strawberry farm. The rancher is putting away my folk here, and if I lower the visibility depth, I can actually see inside the mountain they're busy at work. Did I forget to... Nope, I did not forget to. I'm going to also build... terrain, dig a ramp down right here in this little narrow hallway of mine. Good. And let's actually just go ahead and paint out just a slightly larger corridor so I can make a double ramp, because I like double ramps. Okay, zoom out a little bit more, give myself a bit of a better bird's eye view, and check my population stats to see who's idle. Naturally, the builders have gone idle since they've already completed their build tasks. The ranchers is idle as well. Yep, so those three I kind of expected would have been. The only other thing I can think for them to do is to give them more hauling tasks. Because all these logs are getting spread all over the place, I could bring them all here. The other thing I could do is give them a temporary ability to complete tasks that they really oughtn't to be doing long term. In this case, what I'm going to do is redefine my own profession. So, actually, what I'm going to do is just for them personally. So, hey, Tick. Your profession is builder, but today I also want you to engage in horticulture. And, population, professions, no. Population, assignments. Mixminji, I want you to temporarily engage in horticulture. And now I'm going to give them orders to cut clippings off of this vast quantity of trees. That way we're going to have enough clippings to replant or double plant this entire grove, should I so desire. Just lying around. And we might go and harvest fruit off that later. That's a large enough area, by the way, that it's going to keep them busy for a very long time. I still left one idle, and that's fine. I want somebody on hauling tasks anyway. It looks to me like we have already dug our way into marble and basalt and found copper. Normally you don't find this many metals this high up. The fact that I found them here is actually a real feather in my cap. And yeah, that's gonna make my job a lot easier in the near future for what I must construct. In fact, I think I have what I need right now to... I'm debating what the best way to teach what I'm thinking is, and I think I'm gonna have to wait for just a little bit longer. Okay, let's continue. I will discuss clippings and how they work and such in a little bit. For the moment, let's double check to see who's idle and assign them work. The woodcutters have gone idle on me. How dare you? Let's order them to cut down all of these trees that I have just clipped for the precious clippings. Ooh, this actually, I just realized this is a really good way to teach what I was wondering when I was going to teach. So what have we done with these trees? We've clipped them, which has resulted in earning clippings, which can be replanted as trees, as well as the fruit that was on them. Now we're felling them, which is going to result in cutting them down. Goes without saying, and we'll get logs out of it. But wait a minute. Now that we've done all of that, all we have is a bunch of dead trees with replantable seeds. That's a pretty big burning of my resources, isn't it? Yes, it is. So the solution to that is going to be... Wait, is this... Please tell me they planted the seeds. No. The farmers have gone off duty to help with this job, I think. Where are my farmers? It's important for them to keep doing their job. No, they're helping with the clipping of trees. I will have to order them to stop shortly. But the next step would be, naturally, replanting the fallen trees, right? So agriculture... Plant trees! And then plant the trees back. I'm only doing a couple because I don't want to take forever for it to happen. So what have I done? Cut the clippings, felled the trees, replanted the trees. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? There's a way that I can automate that process, and that is to declare this area a grove. So let's go ahead and cancel all standing orders on the trees for the moment. And declare this area a grove. Very large grove, actually. Within a grove, you declare one type of fruit, or one type of tree that it works with, and in my case, the choice of orange trees is obvious, right? And automatically, all these tasks will be completed in order. We will first plant any new saplings, then cut clippings off of any trees, then pick fruit off of the trees, and then fell the trees again, so that we can replant them. This process will be maintained by anyone capable of doing those tasks at this priority level, so I don't end up overriding all of their existing priorities to do it instead. So that's how you maintain a bunch of trees conveniently, rather than having to constantly go back and give new orders for it. Looks like the miners have gone idle on me again. Lousy, lazy miners. Let's set them to work. They did dig my down ramp, so terrain, dig, ramp down. I actually have this hotkeyed as well to the letter C, because it's more convenient that way. And for those of you wondering why the floor went down like that, I couldn't see, so I tapped F to lower the floor. You can tap E to remove the gray tiles, and F to lower the floor, and gives you a better visibility. Whatever floats your boat. Also, now that I have this ramp down, I'm going to begin construction of 2 areas. The first is going to be an arbitrarily large area that is going to be my Great Hall. I like making a very big Great Hall, for reasons that will become obvious in the future. Then off to the other side is going to be my sleeping area. Actually, no. In case of goblin attack, in case an enemy should get through the gates and get in here, I want this place to be a little bit defensively structured. So let us intentionally cut a few... No. I want this place to be a little bit defensively structured. Them having to walk through here is fine. And off to the side of the Great Hall is going to be the sleeping quarters. Not too far, because I want my gnomes to be able to get to the sleeping areas pretty conveniently. That should be a pretty... This is an overly large area, admittedly. I just kind of like throwing a bit more space at it than I'm required to. What else? I have my Great Hall, my sleeping area. Oh, right, food. Let's make an attached set of kitchens. So this will be my larder, where I store food that I have produced, so that the Great Hall is easily supplied with it. This is going to be my kitchen, where I produce said foods. And I freely admit that I'm not really focusing on making optimal arrangements of stuff right now. I'm just doing my thing. This is going to be my distillery where I make the drinks. This is going to be an attached butchery shop where I kill animals for their meat and then supply the kitchen. And this is going to be a bone carver off to the back where I use the bones that the butcher provides. Doesn't need to be as big a space, admittedly. What am I forgetting? Kitchen, drinks, butcher, bone worker. You don't have to pre-plan this, by the way. I just do because I know what I'm going to do in the long run. And I think that's a fairly decent setup for the time being. So have the diggers back on duty, doing their thing. I think this has been a fairly solid demonstration to show you how you might go about keeping your people not idle. Honestly, one thing I could do with Ver is just switch him and say, look, stop being a builder, be something else. I don't have enough work for builders right now, and we're in need of farmers even if they're not well trained. That's not a bad idea. I'm not doing it right now because I don't want to complicate what is already becoming a little complicated. Also, there are build tasks that need to be complete now, and I'm going to explain how to go about them. But I think the time for that is going to take enough time to do that I would like to do that in a new video. For the moment, I would like you to observe how this field is currently being taken care of and attended to by the tree cutters. And the reason that the saplings haven't been planted is because tree cutters don't know how to plant saplings. Farmers do, but the wheat farm has my top priority, so they're actually obeying my priority structure, and we'll get to this eventually. Because let's be honest here, replanting trees, not as priority when I have fields and fields worth of wood to fall back on should the need arise. Okay, cutting this video short for the time being. It's been an introduction to professions. Well, I didn't show one thing that's really important to show, so let's do that now. And that is showing you how to make your own profession. We assigned this rancher a custom extra job, right? This guy was the rancher. You can tell because animal husbandry, butchery, horticulture. Well, I find that ranchers generally don't have enough work to do. So I like to redefine the rancher profession as a whole. Population, professions, blah, rancher. Let us instead call you a rancher butcher. Your abilities now extend not just to ranchering, but also you are permitted to... where would it be under? You're definitely permitted to cook. I don't know about brewing as much, but certainly you can cook. Butchery is definitely under the list of rancher, that's good. Leatherworking makes sense on account of the fact that you work with the dead pieces of the animals that you work with, but that should extend to bone carving, so miscellaneous crafting, bone carving, why not? If you're already killing the stuff. And yeah, I think that should be sufficient for the timing. So in this manner, I have created a new profession, which I can now assign to my rancher and turn him into a rancher butcher. And this does not necessarily destroy your old profession. I overrode it, but I could have just created a totally new profession if I had so desired. Like this, new profession. Using this to your advantage is kind of vital. As you come up with more and more niche tasks, or niche roles that need to be filled, or you have enough gnomes running about that you can afford to specialize them a little more. Or the flip side, you have few enough gnomes that you can't afford to. For example, I think I am going to define a new profession. Whoops, I just removed minor by mistake. That's kinda sorta bad. So how do you go about fixing this? Well, yeah, I think I just removed miner as a profession by mistake, which yeah, you should never do. So we're gonna go ahead and do something kind of quick, and that is to import-export professions from Trivalia, I suppose we'll have to do. Import professions. Back. Resume. Population. Professions. Okay, it totally imported my professions. I'm going to remove the custom professions that I've already defined in Trivalia because I don't want to have the advantage of those when I'm trying to teach how to make my game. You'll notice Rancher Butcher was re-imported on account of the fact that, well, I already had the same thoughts before for my Rancher. And that should have recovered most of the defaults. Some of these might be slightly tweaked off of the usual because they are my customs. Builders, I permit to do metalwork. I'm going to permit them to do construction as well as hauling. And I actually am going to permit them to do wood crafting. So carpentry. Not carving, but crafting, so carpentry. As well as stone cutting, I suppose. So stone carving? Masonry? Masonry. In short, if it results in turning raw things into built things, builders are allowed to do it. Builder, crafter. Now, this is not a profession that I intend to keep forever. I intend to restrict them to just building when I have enough build tasks that's important. But that's not now, that's in the future. Also, let's prioritize build top for their list. Workshop is a distant second. Okay. That about tears it for defining professions. When we next come back, I'm going to start doing oh, I love that they're working on the wheat farm. When we next come back, I'm going to start doing other things that involve setting up the actual building of stuff, and I will be explaining a lot of how that works. So thanks for watching. Tune in for part 3 shortly.